director said, you won't be able to use the works limousine in Bologna. The streets are too narrow. You'll have to use a Vespa. A Vespa, said I. If I'm travelling on a bike, I'm going to go on a best. So, Hector, here we are in Bologna, capital of the Emilia Romagna district and one of Italy's most cosmopolitan cities. It's full of medieval towers and churches and sumptuous palaces. The first university in Europe opened here in the 12th century. Also, this town was so famous for its food and its scholastic behaviours that it became known as La Grassa e la Dotta, the fat and the wise. Of course, many people associate Bologna with spaghetti bolognese, but forget that dubious sauce for the moment. Underneath is what counts, the most basic of Italian food, pasta, and it's really very simple to make. The ingredients are eggs and flour, but you can add different colours and flavours, like spinach for pasta verde, or tomato, or squid ink. Most people here make their own, and once you know how, it's really quite simple. It was Marco Polo, the great explorer, who introduced pasta to the Italians from China, where they have this stuff called noodles, as we all know. But the Italians loved the idea so much they made it really their own thing, and now they produce over 200 different types and shapes of lovely pasta. Anyone who can make pastry could easily turn their hand to pasta. Even the words are close, and actually pasta is the easier of the two to make. You can use fancy machines to cut out different shapes, but it's probably just as good to roll it out by hand. A popular, nay, fashionable dish these days in Italy is squid ink flavoured pasta. I've got some tagliatelle made of eggs, dough and milk flavoured with squid ink, and I'm going to simply cook it with some clams, some scallops, some chives, tomatoes, garlic and parsley, a bit of fish stock and a bit of white wine. Terribly simple. If you'd like to wander over this way, old bean, we'll get the old spaghetti into the bowl, the tagliatelle. Always add a good dollop of olive oil into your fiercely boiling water because it helps the stuff not to stick. Let's drop a bit of that in. Don't have to snap it, you see, the hot water just melts it. Right, leave that to roar away for about, won't very long, maybe 3 or 4 minutes before that's cooked. In the meanwhile, get the heat firing away on the pan here. Chop up a couple of scallops. These fresh scallops from the market. A little bit of garlic into the oil, like so. Toss the scallops in. These need to be cooked only very lightly indeed. Now they've just taken a little bit of pepper. They've just taken the flavour, so they're coming straight out now. Add a drop of white wine, drop of fish stock, and then I'm going to take the scallops out so they don't overcook. Scallops out. Right. Now chop up the tomato. That goes into the juice, reducing away there. Parsley. Some chives. And we'll we'll just check, see how the pasta's getting on. The pasta is indeed cooked. We return the scallops into the juices, like so. We add the clams into the juices like so. And one thing you're not prepared for, Dennis, is I'm going to swap these two pans around because I want the fierce heat from this one just to finish off the dish. Put on there like that. Strain the pasta. And finally, and there we have the final exception, a little drop of last minute olive oil. Squid tagliatelle with scallops and clams. Big fat, loving, lingering close-up, dear boy, if you would. Of course, it would have been even better if I'd used fresh pasta, but some days there just ain't no fresh pasta. Driving down to Parma, I understood why our artists have claimed this area is bathed in a special diaphanous light. Its beauty really is quite awe-inspiring, as are the foods that this important market town has given its name to, such as Parma ham and Parmesan cheese, Parmigiano, as they say. Making this famous and expensive cheese is quite a process. Every morning the mixture of semi-skimmed and full-fat milk is delivered and poured into vats where it's stirred and warmed for about 2 hours. Then the curds and whey are separated. They take out the curds in these giant cheesecloths, and that's the basic cheese. They're wrapped and cooled in these moulds, then they're soaked in brine for 6 weeks. And in case you were wondering, all that whey isn't wasted. It goes to feed the pigs who produce Parma ham. They get turned every day, and then they're put into store for 2 years. It's this gentleman's job to go around tapping them to make sure there are no air bubbles. Blessed be the cheesemakers. Parma ham, famous the world over. The hams were prepared in salt and then left for a few weeks in a very cool atmosphere to drain. Then they're washed and left to dry out and mature for almost a year. Its special tenderness, sweet, delicate flavour and enticing perfume have made it one of Italy's favourite dishes. And apparently when Hannibal was here several centuries ago, he insisted on taking several hundred hams with him for his next campaign. Spectacular square in Parma is so beautiful that even just because it's raining, we decided to carry on doing the cooking sketch. Because we want you to see the beauty of Italy. And also we want you to see the beauty of a local speciality, a kind of ravioli, which is stuffed with cheese, spinach, and egg and nutmeg. No further ado, because it is, as they say, raining cats and dogs, you know what I mean? We'll get on with it straight away. I've cut out a little piece of pasta. Let us see if you can see that there. It's all nicely soaking wet. With the pasta. That's our first bit. Now then, what we have to do is break an egg into the bowl, tip over the wine, don't worry about that. Worst things happen at sea, so they tell me. We beat an egg, like so, for a second or two. Then we get a chunk of ricotta cheese, with our hands. We beat that in, like that. Then we put some cooked spinach, finely chopped cooked spinach, into that as well. Bum, 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 bum. Like so. Beat it all well together. And then, because we are in Parma, we put in some of the ubiquitous Parmigiano, the wonderful cheese of this splendid region. A load of that goes in. And now we have an excellent stuffing for our ravioli. But one final bit of flavouring is going to be some nutmeg, which is a bit wet. Doesn't matter. Nutmeg goes in. And a little bit of salt and pepper. Salt, pepper. Dennis, let's have a quick slurp a sec, please. I expect you're a bit tired too. Just give ourselves a bit of breathing space for a second. Going right for the sound. Can you hear me okay? Because there's thunder and lightning, isn't there, going on sound? Okay, great. Right, done that. Now all we have to do, I hope we can do this, it's so sticky, get a little ball of this stuff. Pop it in the middle, like so. Move that out of the way. And then notice the steadiness of my fingers. Just fold that over like that. Tamp it down. Like so. Squeeze it down nicely. That's all ready. Now, by the magic of slave labour, I have here a load already prepared. So we're going to go into the boiling water, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they bubble away on petrol stove mark 6 for about 3 or 4 minutes until they're cooked in fine boiling water. Lid on, the rain goes on, the beat goes on, and the wine goes down. Here's to Parma. What a lovely place. What a lovely place. Excellent. 3 minutes later, the little beauties are cooked to perfection. See how beautifully puffed up. Beautiful fresh pasta. You cannot beat fresh pasta, you know. I had no idea until I came to Italy how really wonderful this food is. The French think they know it all, but they do not. The Italians have a great deal to teach the world, especially me, and the French. Right, there's our cheese, there's our ravioli. The next most important thing is a little bit of butter. Go on there as well, like a little bit of butter, with that. And then this fabulous grana, Parmigiano di Parma. And to have it really good, you grate it on a handcrafted solid silver cheese grater. Like that. Lots of it, lots and lots of this wonderful cheese. Then a quick grind of pepper. Oh, it's coming out. There, if you like, we have Parma on a plate. Venice, what a spectacular city. There's so much to see and do. There are exhibitions by Gauguin, Francis Bacon, Modigliani. There's music by Verdi, who had a tornado named after him, as you know very well. There's St. Mark's Basilica to see. There's the wonderful spectacular villas. It's just impossible to know where to start. Ah, yes. Well, these art galleries are, in fact, very stimulating. Back to work. Right, a quick gondola sketch. They are, as you know, the prime method of transport here in Venice. They've been here for centuries. Before the Black Death in the Middle Ages, they were painted in very bright, gay colours, but they're now black out of respect for the dead. They cost about £100,000 to build. It's very much a family business, and they're very nice to ride around in. Another great thing about Venice is the shopping. I love pottering down the little back streets where there are so many wonderful things on sale. Tourist traps they may be, but they are a delight. These little silver miniatures, for instance, aren't they just exquisite? And these little figures come from the island of Murano, famous for its glass artistry. In fact, they're so exciting, I bought some for my daughter's birthday. If, like me, you've spent about the last 10 days trotting in and out of museums and art galleries and things, and you get a bit fed up and a bit tired, and you want to contemplative moment, somewhere to relax, go into the back streets of town and find yourself a tranquil bar. They're splendid places, only the locals, no tourists. Of course, we're here. And one of the things they have is this splendid bacala. Down here, please, Dennis, for a big factor of some. It's pureed salt cod. It's very simple to make. You get a lovely wedge of salt cod, soak it in fresh water for 24 hours, then poach it in milk till it's really, really tender, strain it from the milk, put it into a pestle and mortar with fresh garlic, and pound it up, dripping in olive oil all the time till you get this wonderful creamy spread. And it's absolutely splendid with a glass of red wine. According to the boys' bumper book of art, this spectacular backdrop you see behind me was immortalised by the Italian painter Canaletto. That has absolutely nothing to do with the price of fish, and nothing to do whatsoever with a thing called a risotto bianco, which is a white risotto, popular throughout Italy, but much esteemed here in Venice. It's not an old dish, it was only invented in about 1922. Anyway, enough of history, let's go on with the cooking. What we need to have is a pot, a big, big pot, with a lovely knob of butter melting away in that. Okay, we put the butter in, then we add some very finely chopped onions into the butter too. Turn the gas up a little bit, always helps a great deal. Although the sound man, he's called John, by the way, from South Ham or something like that, or West Ham, or he's a bit of a football freak, and he hates the sound of cooking noises. Anyway, butter and onions into there straight away, then some splendid rice from Verona, where of course Shakespeare was so inspired to write The Two Gentlemen of Verona. He also got carried away by the Merchant of Venice there and stuff like that, although it is not known whether he actually visited the place. Anyway, some rice from Verona into the butter and the onions. And we twizzle that around and around and around and around until all the butter's melted and been absorbed by the rice and the onions. But take it from me, without looking in there, that the butter has melted. The next thing we have to do is add, just to cover the rice, a drop of white wine. Okay, and we leave that to bubble away for a few seconds till the wine is totally absorbed into the rice. In the meantime, because I love being extravagant, I bought a lovely crayfish, which is going to be the main flavouring of this particular risotto. So we'll chop up the crayfish, which I've already blanched, a little bit of boiling water, chop that up into bits like that in readiness for a moment. You'll probably hear lots of noises behind, but there are barges and tugs and customers standing around. There's one starting right up now. In the meantime, while that's reducing away, I'll shell a couple of langoustines. You must be careful because they're quite prickly little things. Shell a couple of those and pop them into my pot there. Right. Now, to all intents and purposes, as you can see in there, the wine has gone. We now add a load of fish stock or chicken stock, cover the rice. Now we bring that to the boil for a couple of seconds. As soon as that, back to me please Dennis, as soon as that has come to the boil, you take it off, turn off the gas, put the lid on it and let it rest. So, to recap, we fried finely chopped onions in butter, then we added the rice, then we added some white wine, let the white wine reduce, then we added some chicken stock, brought it to the boil, took it to one side and let it absorb the stock into the rice. And now, as you see down here, Dennis, the rice is fat, slightly crunchy in the middle, but properly cooked. So the next phase is to add some grated Parmesan cheese, as much as you feel like, but I think you should have quite a bit of it, because it's a nice cheesy sort of dish. Stir that in, like so, and then, to make this absolutely splendid, we're going to fry some little pieces of lobster in butter, like that, and we're going to fry some fresh scampi, nothing to do with the old trattoria down the end of the shopping precinct where you live. This is fresh Adriatic scampi, a little bit of salt and pepper on that. You can stay with it if you like, Dennis, or you can look at the lovely view behind me, I don't mind. We've only been working together for a few days, so we're not perfect yet, I know. Okay, bit of pepper, a bit of salt, like so, a good squeeze of lemon juice. Because these dishes, because of the lots of butter they have and lots of Parmesan cheese, they're quite creamy, and you do need a bit of acidity to give it some really good flavour. Okay, twiddle those around, and because we're pretending we're cooking this for one of the bishops or the Doge or whatever of Venice, and I know the odd bishop likes the odd tipple, and they're all gastronauts, you know, bishops are, and clerics and monks and stuff. I know they walk around doing very good things, but my goodness me, when they get behind those cloisters, they don't have to tuck into the grub. And so, to make it absolutely outstandingly good, we'll just add a little bit of cognac. While that's flaming away there, we'll prepare the finished dish. Ouch, that was hot. So the risotto goes in there, like so. Pass it onto the floor. Wonderful brandy and lemon flavoured butter over the fresh lobster and the fresh langoustines, which we pop on top of there like that. Well, that was going a bit fast for you, was it, Dennis? Sorry about that, old chap. And then some parsley on the top, and I present you with my lobster and scampi risotto, which, judging by the ones I've already had in Venice so far, this will be the best one I've tasted. This is the time to go shopping in Venice, early in the morning before the tourists are up and about. Not you'd expect to find many tourists in a fish market, though. Even one as stunning as this. I've been to more fish markets than most people have had hot dinners, but I still never tire of it. It's such a wonderful place to browse and think and conceive dishes. Approximo.
Facciamo qualcosa? Dobbiamo dire o...
No. Thank you.
Va bene?
Grazie, signor.
È meglio.
Muy bien. Grazie. Thank you. This colourful flotilla of craft is in fact a water picket. Yes, even in Venice the unions make their point. My guess is they're a bunch of Venetian street sweepers demanding cleaner working conditions. Well, when in Venice, do as the Venetians and make a public exhibition of yourself. Okay, Dennis, I think you've seen enough of the herbs. Most people would do a cookery sketch in a proper studio under hygienic, clean, quiet, silence and sensible conditions. Not us. We have to stick ourselves in front of the Rialto Bridge, hundreds of people standing around, taking photographs, videoing us, all the rest of it. But what's the matter? It's fun, it's Italy, and we're going to make a splendid fish soup cum stew, Venetian style. First thing we do is whack in some olive oil into our pot, like so, which is already hot. Then we add some finely diced onion. Turn the heat up a little bit. Don't worry about all the noises in the background. It's a regular working day for Venice, and we're the ones that are causing the confusion. Onions go in. Then we put some finely diced carrot. Is this all right for level for you? Just nod at me if you can hear me okay. Thank you, sign man. It's extraordinary. Back up to me for a second, please, Dennis. The sound man is quite an extraordinary breed of character. You know? There's all these boats going by, demonstrations going by. He doesn't mind that. He actually resents the sound my gas cooker makes. And this is a cooking program, for goodness sake. Right, carrots and onions are in already. Now we add some finely diced celery. Lots of olive oil, and always use just the best olive oil. Never cheapen your dish by buying cut price olive oil. Always get the best. Okay, let those sweat down for a second. These Italian plum tomatoes are absolutely smashing for soups and stews. You peel them very carefully and then you chop them all up very finely. Just like so. And as we say in the trade, there's some I chopped earlier. If your lens mists up, don't worry, Dennis, I'll wipe it off for you. Tomatoes. They go in. Right, and now some of the essentials of Italian cooking. A good bunch of chopped basil, very, very important. Some splendid parsley, that goes in as well. And, of course, where would we be without garlic? Okay, garlic goes in. We let that absorb all the flavours and all the oils. A little salt. A little pepper. Not too heavy for you, dear, is it? The camera, you're bearing up all right? Good, good. Now, to speed things up a little bit, I've already boiled some water. Because if you put cold water into this, it slows the process right down. So we put some hot water into there. Right, that is the base of our soup. Now stay close on that just for a second while I reach over for my fish. Now back up to me please, Dennis. That wonderful collection of fish I've filleted, skinned and jointed into neat little pieces which now goes into the soup. There we are. Squids and monkfish and eel, redfish, scampi tails, goodness knows what. You can use any kind of fish you like, but do have firm fleshed fish. That's very, very important. That goes in there like that. Big fat loving close-up before I put the lid on. Would you like to do that? There we have it. Okay, the lid goes on, the gas goes on, the beak goes on, and the demonstration goes on. Up the workers, that's what I say. And happily, the police don't seem to need guns or riot shields on this occasion. Excellent. About 40 minutes have gone by. The soup should be ready. Let's take the lid off and have a look. Absolutely splendid. Splendid. Right, gas off. I'll try and tip this into the soup bowl now. I'll probably splash it all over the place. Now I'll ladle it in, I think. Finally, a bit more fresh basil, a little more fresh parsley, and a little tastette. If I say it myself, it is brilliant, naturally.